What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Win podcast with your host, Aunt Ma, co-host Justin Vaseur, and special guest, the lender, Mr. William Wynn. A lot of you guys have been asking this question: how do I buy a home? How do I get pre-approved? And this is why we have William on our podcast, because today, in this 1 hour episode, we'll be talking a lot about pre-approvals and all the different types of situations. And in this episode particularly, we'll be talking about what is the best situation you need to be in to get pre-approved? Because no one knows. They don't know anything about pre-approvals. What do they need from you?
Well, the first step is make sure you kind of have some kind of down payment, right? Some people.
What does that look like?
At least 3% for conventional and 3.5% for FHA, which is the first-time home buyer program.
What is
the purchase price?
What is the least amount of a 3% someone has put and the most that you've seen?
Lease is what? 14,000.
14,000. Yeah. Nice. So someone's bought a home with 14,000.
14,000 down, and you have to leave a little bit
for closing costs.
Okay, so like another. Let's say like $20,000. I think. I think we've done it with like 21. Someone with 21,000.
Yep.
Yeah, we've done that before. So you need down payment.
Oh, so your lowest has been with me.
Yes.
So me and William have gone to someone a house with $21,000 all in.
And actually we do a lot of I do a lot of loans with you. Like majority of my loans are with you.
Yeah.
And the one-offs are like friends that are real estate agents already and their clients. Yeah. Everything goes to him.
I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. I see a lot of comments about people. Ant doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a good real estate agent. He doesn't sell any homes. I don't show you guys everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
this is the lender, and he's telling you right now that we do very, very well.
We do very well. So people think, I'm going to go back to that. So I think we had a conversation about this. Some agents were like, I've been doing this for 20 years. The question everyone should ask is, how many transactions do you do every year? Because you can be an agent for 20 years and do one transaction a year.
Yeah.
And that means you only done 20 transactions. And it's 20 years, a lot of changes, right? But with us, like we can be maybe 2 to 3 to 4 transactions a month. Right.
Yep.
So within the 2 years, we already have more experience over someone else that's been in the industry a long time, because we have some crazy files that we didn't think was going to make it.
Every little change that happens in the market or in guidelines or in programs,
we have experienced
or the sellers changing their trends, we see it as they happen every single minute. We're minute by minute in this market.
It's like I would say, like compared to like sports, right? You want someone that's always practicing every day, right? Always practicing, or does it constantly. Not because they've been in player for like 20 years, but like how many teams you been playing on? You know what I mean? Like,
so, we got someone a home for 21,000.
Yep.
Okay. Now, what's the most someone has bought a home for with the biggest 3% down?
Biggest 3% down?
Yeah. Like how much house can you buy with 3%? What's that max? And then how much have you helped someone?
Well, 3% right now.
Like you can't buy a $2 million home with 3% down.
You can't?
You can.
What do you mean you can?
No, I'm asking, you can't?
You can't.
Oh.
Because
what the hell?
Because the loan amount, depending on how much the loan amount you need, like house prices, you need more than that, because the criteria changes, right? For so you the more house you want to buy, the bigger the down payment. So like 3% is usually 3% is usually the average buyer, about 500 to like 600,000-700,000 maybe, because because you're putting so much down, the more house you buy, the loan's bigger, so that means your payment's a lot higher, right? And a majority of people that can put 3% down can't afford a huge house payment. Yeah. So usually 3% down, you want to stick around 500,000-600,000, because that's when those. From my experience, those buyers that's what they can afford monthly.
So what is the most someone has put on a down payment?
3% or most
for 3?
I think like 20. I can't remember the top of my head, because we do a lot of transactions. Maybe like 20-something thousand.
20-something thousand on a 3%. That's pretty good.
Most?
Yeah.
How
much house did that buy them?
I think I can't remember exactly. Maybe 600, 700, somewhere around there.
6 something, I think.
Yeah, right? Around there, 6 something. Yeah.
Okay.
With a good interest rate.
What if someone can afford the house payment, but they're just putting 3% down because they want
You
to
can still
keep as
do it.
much cash.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can still do it.
Happens all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It happens.
So I think what I was trying to get at was with 20 something thousand, people were able to buy 600K homes from us.
What about?
So that's awesome. So first thing, what you need to get pre-approved is you need that 20 something thousand in your bank account,
Yes.
as low as 14,000.
You need income. You need income too. So I would need your 2 most recent pay stubs and your W-2s for 2 years. Now, if you haven't been working for 2 years, I can still make that work depending on what you did before that. If you're going to school, you were in college and you graduated, I can still do it. I can explain that you're in getting your degree. Now you're getting paid. We did that for one of our clients.
Yeah.
She just finished college and she bought her first home within the year.
What are, I guess, out of all the clients that you've had, what occupations were the best to get pre-approved? If that makes sense. Did I ask that right?
Oh, what occupations? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
I
good
wouldn't say
question.
occupation. I would say as long
Income
as you get
level?
paid, as long as you get paid straight hourly or salary, that's the easiest
Okay.
because it's just bam, 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 just real quick calculations.
All right.
But when it goes down to like nurses, nurses because they have different pays depending if you work night shift, day shift, or overtime. Then it gets a little bit more
Really?
complicated. Yeah.
I would think nurses would be your best pre-approved client because they're the ones that get paid the best.
So the best in terms of income,
Yeah.
but more difficult to calculate
I see.
income because I have to look at all the paychecks. Basically, I would look for nurses and anyone with commissions pay. I need recent 2 years, recent two pay stubs.
Yeah.
Last 2 paychecks of the year for the last 2 years because that paycheck will show how much bonus you got, how much overtime you got, right? And then W-2s. If you have overtime, I need that overtime to be existent for 2 years for me to count overtime.
All right. So this is a lot of stuff that I'm not even following, and I'm sure you guys aren't either.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this or watching this, you can email William.
Your scenario, and I will.
He will email you what documents you need.
Yeah.
If you need it right now. What is your email?
It's William at the G team. So that's THEGIH team.com.
The G team.
Team.com.
GIH.
And then
Okay.
William. Easy.
So, we talked about person needs 20K, 14 to 20K. Then you also have to have a hourly job.
But the down payment, some programs we can get away with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you also need to have a good job.
A solid
who
job.
else is the perfect person to get
Good credit.
Good credit.
Good-
What does good credit mean?
A good credit, I would say, it's a credit score over 700. And that doesn't mean if you have under 700 you can't get a loan. That doesn't mean that. It's just that it's more beneficial for you because the interest rate will be lower, right? The more riskier your credit score, the higher the interest rate. So the more money it will cost you,
Okay.
basically.
So the better your credit score, the better your rate will be.
Yes.
Let's say worst case scenario, I had the worst credit score in the world. How can I buy a home?
Depending,
What does my credit score have to be?
above 620 for conventional, and then above 5, depending on the program for FHA, and the government program, I think 580 something or 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with a 580 credit score, you can still buy a home.
Yes.
Can you buy a home without a credit score?
Great question.
Yes, good question. This is what I talk about experience. Not a lot of loan officers know this, and we've done it. Yes, you can. However, you need to have at least 2 monthly payments you've been doing for the past 12 months. Example would be Netflix.
Really?
Yeah. Netflix or car insurance.
Damn. So if you've been sharing your password or that guy that's been getting a password for a family member,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. This is why Netflix trying to help you out. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys got to pay for your subscriptions for reasons like this.
So basically, if you don't have a credit score, we will be non-traditional. So we just want to see you make a payment to something on a monthly basis for 12 months at least. So as long as you have that, you're golden. And then there's I don't remember the top of my head what the credit score that we use as, but it's not horrible. So it's doable.
How Netflix helps you buy a home.
Yeah. Anything monthly subscription.
Like a cell phone bill.
Cell phone bill, yes. As long as it has to be your name, because the trick is a lot of these parents, or those kids,
yeah.
they're under their parents' name.
How about like can you waive all that if you have a cosigner, or you still need to have some proof?
If you want to be on the loan, then we need proof.
Got it.
Or else the cosigner is going to be the cosigner's house or loan.
Yeah.
You can be on title. That's a different story, but
got it. Okay. Yeah.
So that what else we need? Yeah, that basically proof of income, proof of employment.
So let's say that someone doesn't have a good credit score. It's in the 400s. What do you recommend to get them up to get pre-approved?
I would still look at your credit report. A lot of clients that I'm able to pull credit from, and like we see the credit score, and then we have a program because we put a credit. We can sign into our credit reporting agency, and they'll tell us how to improve the credit. Like if you do this, your points will improve by this much, right? And then we
can 3 things that they can do to improve their credit.
Pay off their balances, or pay off a charge-off
like
account.
In full?
Yeah, in full. Pay
Not
off a
like month to month?
Not
to slowly raise it up?
Yeah, month to month. Or sometimes depending, you might be able to pay one credit card off.
Okay.
And that would jump your points. It'll tell you exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Or like a pay off the charge-off that you had.
Yeah.
Or if some people don't know they had a charge-off, that we kind of write a letter and fight that. And just lower your balances, basically. Whatever, we'll work it out.
Okay. Does a personal loan versus a credit card matter? Like let's say you have $10K in a personal loan versus $10K in a credit card. Does that kind of...
It only matters it gets a little complicated when it goes to your credit score. It helps your credit score differently.
Yeah.
Right? What matters to me is how much you pay monthly on it.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, so basically a lot of times now the rate's pretty high too.
The credit card might be cheaper than the
because
loan.
the minimum's like lowest $35 a month, right? Or if you have a big balance, maybe $200, $300, $400. Sometimes the loan will be more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
dude, the credit card interest rates are ridiculous. Right now.
Doesn't matter if you have good credit, you still be paying.
Oh yeah, my credit score is like 800, and right now, last month, I got $500 in interest charged.
Yeah, it's because the interest rate should be
$500.
Yeah, interest rate should be like 17%.
It's like 30% right now.
Oh yeah, see, it's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. What are some things that don't matter? Like, do a lot of people come at you and you're like, oh, that doesn't matter?
Well, like people worried that I have too much debt, right? Because they're thinking, shoot, I have $100,000 worth of debt, I can't buy a home. But realistically, like I kind of mentioned, it's how much your minimum due is on that debt. That's how much.
So they don't calculate the whole $100K.
Yeah,
he calculates the monthly payments.
What your monthly payment is due. That's what we calculate. That's what we hit you with. We don't hit you like, $100,000 minus $100,000 off your loan amount. No.
So that's if their credit score is good, right? So like, for example, you were giving people advice to like pay off their credit cards and all that stuff if their credit card is crappy.
Credit score.
Credit score. But let's say someone has a 750 credit score, but then has $100,000 in debt. They don't have to go pay that off, right?
It could have been an option. So basically, sometimes it'll be you pay off like half, or like all scenarios is different.
So earlier we were talking about person with a horrible credit score.
Yeah.
Now you're asking a question about someone in terms of a debt to income ratio. So if you have too much debt and don't make enough money, then you got to pay off that debt to balance off that debt to income ratio, because you have to show that you make more money than spend more money. So
basically the magic, if you want to really know, like the magic FICO score, remember, this has to be FICO score. Remember that, because people come at me, my credit score is like 800. I'm like, and my question always to them is, where did you get that credit score from? Because from the free, from my bank. A lot of those free ones, if you check under the fine print, it says Vantage score. That is not the FICO score. It's Vantage score, credit score.
Wait, what is FICO credit score?
So FICO score is what 90% of lenders use, and that's the original.
And FICO is just like a company.
It's a company. It's a company that they made it back in like the 80s, I think. That rate your freaking credit worthiness.
So if you did like freecreditscore.com,
usually like Credit Karma uses Vantage score. A lot of the free ones from the bank are Vantage score, that is not your FICO score.
So when it's like you get those credit reports and it has 3, it's like Experian, another E something, and then another one like, and then you get the median. I thought that would be your FICO.
It's that is the FICO, but it has to be FICO. So sometimes they'll give you have to make sure it's FICO. Like if you see those on the online ones, they'll say this your credit score is this. It won't say FICO. And at the bottom, it will say Vantage score. So it's basically a little bit technical. Basically, FICO was a company. They've been in business a long time. They're the one that everyone uses to rate your credit worthiness. So the 3 credit bureaus, which is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
That's what I was talking about.
They're like, we want a piece of this. So they made their own credit score, which is the Vantage score.
Oh.
And then the Vantage score takes into consideration like your rent, like a whole bunch of other different scores.
That is the one I use all the time because I get those emails.
Yeah, that is not your FICO score. So
how much does it deviate then?
Yeah.
For some people, by 100 points.
No way.
I know mine was
serious?
off by 100 points. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some people have better Vantage scores than FICO scores, and some people have better FICO score than Vantage scores.
So when I get these emails all the time saying you're at 800, it could be 700 or even 680.
Yeah, you just gotta look. You just gotta look at your FICO. I do know. I don't know the name banks, but I think Wells Fargo is FICO score. You just gotta say it'll say FICO.
Damn.
But if you get those credit reports and stuff, go to the 3 credit bureaus: Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax. They have a free service. You can get your score there, or you can pay for it. I pay for it because I get the monitoring. I recommend monitor your credit. No matter how old you are, start monitoring your credit. Make sure that's how you start building good credit. You kind of see what's on it that could be fraud, right? You never know, and you just fight it.
All right. So to sum it all up, the best person to get pre-approved for a home has money in the bank, has a job, and has no debt.
No debt.
Or
you can have some debt.
Okay.
But credit score, magic number 740. For the best, kind of a good rate.
Is there anything else for this perfect person?
That's it. No late payments.
Oh, there you go.
No late payments. No 30-day late payments.
On what though?
Anything.
It
can hurt you really bad.
Even a phone bill.
Even the phone bill. It'll report. And we're gonna question it.
Even like if you have like a Canva.com subscription account, or
they
like
can.
building
I
out
don't
your
think they can
website.
report anything that can report your credit report.
Oh, report your credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've seen a client drop like 60 points because they had one 30-day late on a credit card.
Wow.
And it was only like by 32 days late. And they reported it and it dropped 60 points.
Wow.
So be careful.
Junbi matcha serves high quality matcha straight from the farms in Japan. The matcha leaves are hand-picked by farmers to create the purest form of matcha straight to your cup. They currently have 5 locations around the U.S., 2 of them being in the LA area, which is Roland Heights and Westwood, 1 in Princeton, New Jersey, 1 in Dallas, Texas, and their newest location on the Waikiki Beach in Honolulu, Hawaii. If you don't have a Junbi near you, you can always purchase their matcha tins or pre-made packs. The most popular are the blueberry matcha and the vanilla matcha. You can just mix it with water and you'll have the same great tasting Junbi teas at the comfort of your own home. What you shouldn't do when buying a home.
Yeah, what are some things that you shouldn't do?
Like
some common mistakes that people do.
Are we talking about while you're in escrow or before that happens?
Yeah. Because people do
Both.
a lot of dumb
Let's talk
things.
about both.
So before you get pre-approved, before you even talk to us, are there things that they shouldn't do?
Yes, make big purchases.
Even before? This is when I'm like, hey, I want to buy a car right now, and then in a month I'll buy a home.
Because that car payment is going to make you not buy more house. That's $500,000. Like what? I don't know. Average car payment is now like $700.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
That's going to knock down maybe $100,000.
So it doesn't matter about the time frame. If you're gonna buy a home, do not make a big purchase because we want your debt to be as little as possible.
Yes.
So that's the concern. It's not the ding on your credit.
No, because the inquiry. Well, the inquiry does count, but an inquiry would drop maybe a couple points.
So like you can still get approved if your credit score got hurt a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But if you have too many payments, you cannot get approved.
Yeah.
That's telling them you can't afford a house.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, don't get anything new credit cards. Don't get new credit cards. Don't go out spending like crazy. You kind of want to keep your debt as low as possible. I get it.
What if like I just signed up for Costco right? Membership, and they're like, hey, do you want to sign up for the Costco credit card because you get 3% off your gas purchases? And you're like, hell yeah, gas is expensive. I want 3% back.
You can still do it. Just don't get a crazy balance on it.
I mean, well, you get to choose your balance on a Costco credit card?
No, like
Like charge it up. Yeah.
I see.
Like don't go buying 5 TVs for the house.
Yeah.
Balling.
I see.
But
But you can't. So don't buy 5 TVs, but I could buy that one, like really the best TV.
You just want to keep you just want to keep that minimum payment, your minimum payment due.
Got it.
As low as possible.
Okay.
Don't go moving cash around. Don't deposit cash into your account.
Why can I move money around?
Because I'm gonna have to question it.
Okay.
Depending how much it is, if we do go to escrow, when our house gets accepted, and file goes live, I'm gonna have to see your statements because I need proof of funds, meaning I need to see your down payment.
So what if I have all that paper trail?
As long as it's 2 months or more, as long as that money's been there as long as you have paper trail, it's fine.
Like what if last month my mom gave me 20 grand because she's like, you're gonna buy a home next month, and she's like, here, let me give you 20 grand.
In certain scenarios,
Like she's like, surprise, here's a gift.
Yeah,
So she didn't even tell you.
it's not illegal. However, if you want to save you the hassle of me telling you to ask your mom for 12 months of statements, then
Okay,
yeah.
but
Wait,
so there's no
what?
problem. So basically he's saying that
I just need to show proof.
if
where
your
the money come
mom
from.
said, hey Justin, you told me you're buying a home, go check your bank account. Surprise, I give you 20 grand.
I wish
right?
I had that.
Yeah.
So-
Why does that matter though? Like what?
Money laundering, a lot of that money laundering, and just regulations that we have.
So now they need to
Show
do a
proof.
background check on your mom?
Yep.
What the frick?
Unless it's a check, like
A check? Why does that matter?
a check. If
Because
it's
it's like through the institution.
yeah, as long as it's traceable.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
everyone, dude. My
You'd be
mom
surprised, man.
yesterday, she's like, she sent me Venmo. I'm like, damn, how did she learn how to use Venmo? I was so shocked. She's like, here, happy birthday, and I'm like, what? And it's for my to take my dog to a dog hotel while we go on vacation.
Nice.
I was like, oh,
Damn,
okay,
that
thanks.
must be nice.
Yeah, I was like, wow, how'd she know how to use Venmo, dude? But it was just crazy.
Yeah, anything like that's fine. But like when it comes to like thousands of dollars, like we just gotta just know that we have to trace like big deposits. They're gonna question it.
So as a buyer, that doesn't sound like a big deal to me.
Yeah,
Like, if
I
I'm
saw it's
paying-
not a big deal for you because if
It's a big deal for you though, as a lender.
No, it's not a big deal for me because it's just a big deal for me to ask you because some clients would be like, why? Or like,
Oh.
I'm not gonna tell my mom to do that.
Yeah.
Like you move the money. I need like someone. They're like that.
You know why?
I don't want to go to that hassle.
Yeah, I get it. So, guys, if your mom is like off of Social Security money and stuff like that, and then she's spending it on like investing something, and then they gotta trace all this stuff, like, I get it. You don't want to show the lender all that stuff.
If you want,
So-
They can't use that money for investments.
so basically,
I don't know. I mean,
if you want to do it, the magic rule is it has to be seasoned. So it has to be sitting in your account at least 2 months or more. So I only ask for 2 months of statements for your down payment. So
I see.
yeah,
Yeah, I think to answer Justin's question is more
So-
like if your mom is buying food stamps or she gets food stamp money, right, every month, but then she has also a Mercedes monthly
that's
payment.
I don't report that. We don't report that. Like people get afraid of us report. We don't report that. Like we just need to verify your income and
What's
where the money
the-
came from.
Craziest question you got asked
What's good? Moving money from different countries,
from different countries,
Yeah,
like Switzerland or
like
something?
Vietnam. I
Oh.
had that Vietnam.
I mean, why is that fishy? That's fine.
It is, but then we have to go. Where's his money come from? Why are you borrowing it? There's no way for us to track it.
No, I mean they probably got the money from like marrying their cousin.
Yeah, but that's the other concern is that we
Can they do that? It's still legit. I mean, a legit reason.
it's- as long as
That's crazy. It's just
crazy.
like, let me use my money. Damn.
It's because we don't want it's money laundering is one thing. The other one is like we want to make sure that we're lending you money and you're not borrowing money from someone else. That because we're calculating your debt to income based on what we see. What if you're borrowing money from someone else personally?
Oh, then you got to add that debt.
Yeah, we have to add that debt, or like we can't track it.
Oh, that's
Now-
why
Now,
they
now
do.
you can't. Now technically you can't afford that house anymore because now you owe $100,000.
I get it. That's why they say your family member can send you funds in
It
the
has to
form
be-
of a gift.
And then remember, and that's why I asked for a letter. It has to be a gift. That way we know that
You're not paying anything back.
If they're
and
trying to
there's
go
no
after you in
debt.
court, like no, we have a gift letter.
Yeah,
I don't have to pay you back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and I say that proves to us that yeah, you're not going to be obligated to pay that person back, and we won't hit you for that debt.
Damn.
Got it. Yeah, that's
So-
deep.
What else shouldn't a buyer do?
Miss a payment on any of your debt.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's important. I think we talked about that. That's missing
Mhm.
payment. It's bad. It's all bad for your credit score and bad because we have to like you're missing 30-day payment. How are you going to pay your mortgage?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of this is correlates to both before you're pre-approved and while you're pre-approved.
Yeah.
Now let's get into when you're in escrow and you're within 30 days of getting this home. Okay. Now what shouldn't you do?
Almost the same thing. Don't move money around. For sure, don't move money around.
What happens if they do? They don't get the house?
No, I just got to track it. Some people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
if I'm the buyer and I'm like, William, I'm paying you 20 grand to do your job, I'm gonna move my money around.
You're not paying me 20 grand to do your job, by the way.
Yeah,
you guys
I
don't pay me. I'm just saying.
When I'm thinking about like closing costs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm talking about like escrow and all this other things. So,
Well, I would tell you, just be prepared for me to ask for statements.
got it.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
only hassle. It's not like you can't. You can do it, but I'm going to ask you. You need to show me statements.
Yeah.
Be prepared to give me your statements. Just don't move cash. Don't put cash into your accounts because I cannot accept that.
Okay.
What's the timeline of when you get your loan from the pre-approval to, getting the loan? Like what?
It depends on pre-approval. I just pre-approve you.
Yeah.
Right. It can be a month, a couple of weeks, something like we pretty fast, like within a month we get in escrow. Some clients, like I have one that's doing escrow recently. They've been looking for like 6 months. So
Okay. So to answer your question, a pre-approval is just to go
shopping.
search and shop for a home.
Like here's your
Yeah.
limit.
Okay.
Go
Got it.
shopping.
Getting approved is when you're in escrow. You found that home, you're in escrow, and now you need your final approval from the bank to give you that money.
So
Yeah.
they kind of recheck your information at that point.
Recheck and then
And
actually
ask for more.
Sometimes ask for more. Like I can check for stuff, and then once it goes in like live, my processors and stuff who takes care of it, they verify your identity. They verify. Oh, don't hide assets. They verify your assets because I have clients that try to hide houses for me. Right? It's
Why
like,
would they want to hide houses?
So
from you?
I don't count their debt. Because even if the house is paid off, guess what else is debt on that house?
Property taxes.
Property tax and homeowners insurance. I
Does-
have to count that.
Does business debt matter?
No, not really. If it's in a corporation, like we don't really look at that unless it shows in your If it shows in your personal credit card, it is your debt.
Oh, okay.
Business usually does not show up in your personal. Yeah.
As a self-employed person, entrepreneur, I have more business credit cards than personal credit cards.
Why?
Well, because everything I do is for business, right? Right now we're doing this podcast. It's in my house,
Yeah.
right? When I'm vlogging, I'm eating, right? So a lot of things are business expenses, which is totally justified. And so I use more business than personal. And because I'm just always recording and working.
Protects
Alright.
protects your personal assets.
Oh no, that I totally
Yeah.
get. I was just curious, like when getting your 800 credit score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just throughout the history that you were able to develop that, or do you have like hella credit cards in your personal?
That was
too?
through the history.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's through history. I got to an 800 credit score from, I would say, after buying my first home, because now I have a mortgage. Now I have all these utilities, stuff like that. When I was renting a home, I was like hovering around the low 700s, So until I had like secure
debt.
assets
Okay.
or debt, that's when I was able to bring my stuff up.
Yeah, they look at it. Credit score is kind of weird, man. They look at
Yeah.
how long you've been having credit. That's why your first credit card for all you young ones, don't get your first credit card. Don't ever close it.
I did that.
Yeah, it hurts. You lose that history.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Because I've been stuck at like 750 for like 3 years.
that's good credit score though.
And
Yeah,
I'm
that's great.
like, how do I get it to 800
When you buy a home.
You buy home or get another credit card that increases your
credit limit?
credit limit.
Yeah.
So they look at payment history, your credit history length, how long you had credit, how much credit you have.
Like, I wasn't able to get a big credit card limit until I had a business. So my credit card limits before were like, when you first started when you're 18, Capital One, $300, and then you go ask for $600. Maybe American Express is your best bet to get like $6,000 or something. So I never went past like $6,000 my entire life until I got a business. All of a sudden, 30,000 here, 30,000 there. And then now they're asking like, you want to keep increasing it? I'm like, nah, I don't need to. You know what I mean? I don't need no 60,000 credit card.
Nope.
But it's until you start leveling up, you get more to use.
Yeah, and as long as you have, and that's good. If you have a lot of available credit, that helps your credit too. So as long as you have a lot available, don't use it. It looks good on you.
Yeah. So like we were talking about how like things not to do during the escrow process.
Oh,
have you had anybody lose their home or opportunity?
almost.
Really?
They went out and bought a Tesla.
And then what happened?
Luckily, it was like $800 payment.
How do you save that?
Oh,
I can't save it
because they could have lost their home.
They could have
right?
lost it,
or they should have.
They should have it, but we were just like right at the tip of the debt to income.
So let's say that they weren't as fortunate and they bought that car. What can they do to save it? Can they be like, I got a gift fund from someone?
You have to get fund and pay. Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, I get it.
The only way to save it is get a gift to lower the loan amount.
Meaning that putting a bigger down payment.
Bigger down payment.
So it's like you're 1 week away from closing, and then you're like, you just bought that car, and you can tell them, hey, I need to put another $50,000 into your down payment. Yeah. So I didn't know you could change it at the very last minute.
We just got to restructure. It's gonna extend escrow.
I see.
We're not gonna close next week.
Yeah.
Now basically it's a new loan. It's a new loan again.
Okay, so now that's where you lose the house, because if it extends, now a lot of times the seller can now back out for that reason.
Yes, and then you're screwed over your EMD.
And then you lost your money.
Dang.
So
if the seller's an asshole,
that's why I don't buy a car.
Do not buy any big. When you're buying a house, don't buy any car.
As a real estate agent, I can tell you one thing to not do. Okay, when you're in escrow, if you are the buyer or the seller, do not go on vacation. Okay, during these 30 days, please, because you got to sign a lot of documents.
Yes.
We need to look for a lot of documents. We need communication. You are my best friend for the next 30 days.
Yep.
Okay, don't go away. I've had clients that go on vacation and like they're like, hey, I'll be gone for like 5 days, and I'm like, you're signing within those 5 days, dude. Why are you going somewhere? And so there are ways to get it done. We can get a mobile notary in another state and get it done like that. But you're also going to get your escrow delayed. Because
that's the biggest reason that the escrow delayed.
Yeah, like if you were staying in the same city where the escrow was, you can go in there to the office, you sign it. The next day you fund, and then you close escrow, right? But if you are on vacation to like 2 states away, now we got to call a mobile notary that's local to you at your hotel.
They might not know the rules.
They might not know the rules. So if you're asking them a lot of questions, they won't know the answers to. Second, once you sign the documents, now they have to overnight it back to the escrow, and that takes a day. And then escrow looks at it, when they have time. So you lost out on like 1 or 2 days. So don't go away.
Oh, I have one more question. Are there any things that you shouldn't do as a couple? I don't know if that question would make sense, but
in terms of
like trying to apply for a loan together, or is it the same things, or like?
I have one thing. If you're doing a FHA loan, first time homebuyer program, even if you are let's say you're married, and let's say my wife has all the debt, example only. Let's say we're married and you have all the debt.
Yeah.
Or I had all the debt. Let's mix that. I have all the debt, and then you want to buy the house, just because I don't stay out of it because I have too much debt. For government loans, FHA loans, we count the spouse's debt too, even if she's not on the loan, or even though the spouse is not on the loan, so it'll still hurt you. That's most important. So if you're doing, if you need to use the FHA program, make sure you know your spouse's debts, because that has hurt deals before.
Yeah, I think to answer your question as well, you can always apply with both people, and then the lender will tell you if that other person needs to be on it or not.
Yeah,
they can always remove people or add people.
You want to be surprised.
Yeah. What I like to do as an agent is I like to have everybody apply that you want to get the house with, and then we'll see who we can take out if they don't want to be on it. That way we already have all the paperwork in and it's all good. It's a lot easier that way for everybody if it's done that way.
Yeah, we don't have to call Audible or anything.
This is the most popular matcha tin. It gives you the energy you need to prepare for your day without the crash, mainly because of its high quality. Make your own matcha at home with their daily ceremonial grade matcha. All you have to do is scoop, whisk, and enjoy. So this matcha tin is 100% pure shade grown, finely milled matcha. It's sourced from a 100-year-old farm in Japan. It pairs deliciously with other ingredients, and it fuels you to prepare daringly for your adventures ahead.
Who are the most difficult people to get pre-approved?
The most difficult.
The rich.
The
The rich?
Who's the rich?
Sorry, that's it's not the rich. The wealthy.
The
The
wealthy?
Who's that?
Business owners.
I'm a business owner. I'm not wealthy.
You will be wealthy. Like a lot of I'm telling you this now. A lot of really wealthy people that do what the fuck I want money are business owners, right? Some doctors can get there, like surgeons and stuff, but they have to work a lot of hours. Business owners, they work a lot of hours, but eventually they retire like earlier.
Why are business owners?
Because they're complicated.
Why is that?
Because they have multiple businesses, right? Business owners like yourself, they don't just have one business. They have multiple businesses.
Yeah, I would. Okay, so there's business owners and there's self-employed people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think of a business owner as someone who owns a couple restaurants.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think of self-employed as someone who owns just one thing that they do on their own. But then there's someone like me who has like, a handful of LLCs.
Yeah.
And I know I am the nightmare buyer. And if you want to explain why that is.
I've done this file, so I know that's why.
Why am I the worst?
Because there's multiple businesses. I have to look at, for business, it's a lot more complicated. I really have to look at 2 years of taxes. There are
For each business.
For each business. So I have to calculate your profit and loss.
For each business.
For each business. Every single business you have, I have to calculate your profit and loss for 2 years. And then if you have an upward trend or a downward trend, I have to look at everything.
So right now I have 5 businesses or, LLCs.
Yeah.
So it's like as if it was doing a pre-approval for
people.
5 buyers.
Yes.
So that's 5 businesses plus myself
Yep.
and my wife. So
Yep.
is that like 7 people you're looking up?
Yep.
Okay. Well, bad news. I'm about to start another one this week.
That's fine with me.
So I'll have 8 for you.
Yeah.
too.
It's hard, but I'll still do it. I think the most I've done 20 businesses.
Wow. Was that when me and my buddies were trying to get a rental?
That's pretty close. That's pretty close.
Right?
That's pretty close, but it was one person.
There was 4 of us, and we all had handfuls of businesses.
And I was pretty new too at that time. I was like, "What is going on?"
That's insane, dude. Is there any way to make that process
Nope.
simpler? You
Nope.
have to go through each thing.
Mhm.
Like, what if I do a spreadsheet and I just total
Nope.
everything up?
I would still have to contact the CPA.
Bruh.
Yeah, it's a hard. Not a lot of new loan officers can do it.
I understand why my CPA hates me now.
Yeah, because we had to contact the CPA. Because
Yeah.
a lot of business owners are like, "Oh, call my CPA." And then, yo, CPA, we need 2 years of taxes for 10 businesses, please. Thanks.
Yeah. I've seen CPAs reply back in an email with like, I don't work for you. This is the last time I'm giving you some documents.
You need a new
stuff like that.
CPA.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah. We had to
How about just self-employed? Like, is that very, very simple process, or is
It's
it
the
still
same.
kind of
It's-
like...
if you have a business, then I have to look at it. If you have 1099, I have to look at that. For you.
Like, I think he's asking self-employed, like a freelancer who
Yeah.
just does one thing.
1099. It's not as complicated, but I would have to look at your 1099s.
So it's
And-
his
and your-
personal stuff and then it's
and your
1099 stuff.
1099s and it's calculated through that.
Hmm.
So like the easiest is straight salary. And then once you get the business, I have to calculate your business trend, how much profit and loss, how much your losses you're taking. Like, because a lot of business owners, like the one that just told you about the 20, he got mad because I couldn't do it. His house was like $3 million. He's like, I make way more than that. Well, on paper, you do not because you wrote everything off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So when you
So
write
is that-
things off, yeah.
So it hurts. So basically, business owners, if you're going to buy a house or refinance, sorry, but you have to pay your taxes for 2 years.
What does that mean? Like when people do write-offs, are we getting into like the gray area of talking about illegal stuff?
It's not illegal because you can still
because it's justified.
It's justified.
Right.
It's not illegal. It's justified. So you write all this off so that you don't have to pay as much taxes. Because now, let's say your company made $1 million, but all these expenses, after all the expenses, your company really only made $100,000. So you're only getting taxed on $100,000, right? So like that also means that you only made $100,000 for your loan.
Yeah.
purposes.
So you might not get pre-approved, right?
At all, yeah.
So what William's trying to say is that if you're a business owner and you want to get approved for a home, do not write it off from $1 million to $100K.
Yep.
Make sure you show that you had a winning year.
Yes.
You know, at least $500K or
I
something.
don't want to see no downward
Right?
trend, upward trend.
And pay off that debt. I mean, pay your taxes
Yep.
for the year.
Yep.
And just bite the bullet. Because when I had to buy, there's 2 different years when I had to buy a home, and I write off taxes, right? Because I can. And then one year I paid $20K in taxes. Another year I paid in another like almost $30K in taxes in order for me to buy a home. And like it hurts because I don't ever see that money again. But I won't have a home today if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So
Sacrifices.
That is crazy. So then, to touch up on the last 2 episodes, would that be like a do not do before you buy a home, like write off taxes?
Yes. Do not. That would be part of it. So do not. If you're gonna buy a home, or because I know all your business owners want to buy big houses, do not write off a lot on your taxes. You need to show you made money.
You can write it off the next year after you get the home.
After you get your house, you can do whatever you want. You can write off your truck, like your commercial truck, whatever. But for the purposes of buying a home, we have to, you have to pay those taxes. You have to show income, right? I mean, there's ways around it, but your interest rate's gonna be high.
So who else is a nightmare to pre-approve?
I would say just business owners. I mean, anyone like nurses will be like, not saying the income I think I spoke about, but just their crazy hours. Yeah. Because you look at it. Have you ever seen a nurse's paycheck? Yeah. Like their pay stub, it's just like ours is like it's like a salary would be like 40 hours, $23 an hour. This is how much you pay. Nurses would be like regular hour, like a variation of like overtime, night shift, or weekend shift, and then just I had to calculate all of that.
So because you can't really prove what is the consistent.
Yeah, and so we have to prove consistency, 2 years of consistency, and all of that.
So that brings up another one. I think I know a person that's hard is someone who jumps from job to job.
Yeah, jump job to job.
Right, because we have one client that has like how many different jobs, like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And why is that difficult?
Because we had to get it's called verification of employment.
So you got to call every single
employer,
company he worked for to say if he used to work there.
Yeah.
And then not every manager picks up the phone and says, yes, he worked there.
No, they did not. Some of them take forever. And like small businesses, they don't.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
there was strippers.
That's a lot of cash. Can they prove it with all the dollar bills they get?
I have spoken. I'm not going to name names. I have spoken to a stripper before about buying a house. I didn't go to a strip club. Just verify that. As a client inquiring, there are very smart ways around that. But if it's cash, you cannot do it. But you have to show that you pay taxes. Open a business.
So okay, how about people who do cash jobs? Can they get pre-approved?
No, unless this is on like nail people. What do you call it?
Technicians.
Nail technicians. I do know that some get cash, they report it to taxes, and on the paycheck they'll say cash.
What about servers at a restaurant?
As long as it's reported on your tax, it has to be reported.
So, like for example, there are certain states, like for Utah, where the minimum wage is like $2.25 or something at a time, right? And obviously, with $2 an hour, you can't do anything. But then your tips is like $200 a night.
As long as you report it.
What is reporting? Like, how do you report it?
I think there's a special way. I'm not a CPA, so there might be a special way to report it on your GCPA, and then they report it on your taxes.
Okay, so I think I get it. It's paper trail.
Paper trail.
So when you get cash, deposit it into your bank, right? So if you're working a cash job, if you deposit it into your bank every week as you get money, that shows proof that that's your income.
Yeah, we had to have a paper trail, and
Does that work?
I have to get back to you on that. I don't know that one. It's
Okay.
tricky, but I do know that the nail technicians they can put it on their paycheck. That's cash. How much they receive?
Because I have one client who has like almost 200K, to buy a home, but he can't get approved because they either deliver weed or they grow weed, and so they're cash jobs.
Just have them buy it cash.
But there's only 200K home. You know what I mean? They're trying to buy like a 600K home, so they can't even qualify.
There are programs,
Co-signer?
and luckily I work. My new company has programs that might be able to help. So we'll talk off the air.
So, there's a lot of things like that where they do have legal jobs that are cash.
Yeah.
There are like, food delivery services, things like that. Being same thing, like being a pizza man delivery guy.
Yeah.
Most of it is tips.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to figure it out. You just got to sit down with a lender, and if they're good, we'll figure it out. We have figured out some crazy situations before. It's like really in fine print of the guidelines. Like, oh, see, we could do it.
How about like debt? Like, how much debt can someone have, or like, how does debt to income ratio work?
Debt to income ratio works. I think I spoke about, kind of touched base about on an episode. It's really not how much debt you have. It's about how much that your monthly payments for that debt is.
What's a example of a person who has too much debt who didn't get pre-approved?
Someone that has a lot of student loans.
There you go.
Student loans kill. Like, even though you're not making payments, like this, how a lot of people are not making payments because of the pandemic. What they don't know is because you're not making payments, the loan's still there, and when we do the loan, I have to hit you for a 1%. Depending on normal conventional 1%, for FHA, 0.5% of your total balance. That would be your minimum payment. So I would still have to hit you, and I've seen like deals. I wouldn't say deals, but like potential pre-qualifications hurt because of that. Because I just pull it up and bam, like a whole bunch of student loans, and sure, I don't make payments, but I still have to hit you because that's still your debt. Eventually, you're still gonna have to pay it back. Yeah. So even though it shows no payment on your credit, I have to hit as a 1% or 0.5%, depending on the program.
Okay. So all these don'ts that we're talking about sounds very discouraging for people. The people who are feeling discouraged right now, what do you recommend?
Come talk to us. Really, like
why? They right now they think they can't get a home
because you're assuming. When you assume, you make an ass of you and me. I'm just saying, but right. But it really is. It's like we have clients that come to us like, I don't think we're approved. Let's just talk about it. And we made it work. And like
okay, so with all the don'ts that we're talking about, doesn't mean you won't get pre-approved. They're just very dangerous and might be a reason why. But
as long as you know going in, and then we work it out, don't hide anything, and then we work on a scenario, and we
all I know is that we work magic and we'll make it happen.
We had some very close, like some of the deals we had a couple of deals like, like it's done, like we can do it, and then we find a way.
What's the most debt you've seen get approved?
It all depends on the income. I've seen a lot of debt.
Yeah.
Well, what's
like
like 100K debt?
More than that.
Really?
Well, I mean, are you including a house?
No house.
Like credit card debt and stuff.
Credit card, business loan, wow. I'm sorry, not business, like personal loans, cars. Yeah. Some people have 3 cars, right? But they make a lot of money. Like they make money and they spend money.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. So I've seen a lot, like huge, like I would say over like 6 figures without the house.
Without the house.
6 figures without the
That's
house.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they make
and
money.
I'm over here tripping about some.
Trust me, some of the I now want to switch that word. Remember, use the word rich and wealthy.
Yeah.
So the difference with wealthy is people that they have money. Rich is they have money, but
they can't afford to lose.
They cannot afford to lose their job, and they're just kind of almost like living paycheck to paycheck because they're making $200,000 a year, but they're putting out almost $200,000. You know. So
yeah.
They're rich, but they're stuck. They have to work. Like there's no way around it.
This is the Matcha Whisk. It's electric. It's very convenient to use. The electric matcha whisk is a fun, easy way to make matcha in a flash when you don't have the time or the space to break out your entire set. So you can still enjoy smooth, frothy matcha in just seconds, no matter where you are. So this is the bamboo matcha whisk. It's the most traditional way to make your matcha every morning. It'll help elevate it. It's a ritual that they used to do, and this is a 100-prong traditional bamboo matcha whisk. And it's foldable, so you can take it on the go. Very easy to use. I actually love using this. It's just makes the whole experience that much better. And then this ladle is the way I use to actually get the serving size for the matcha. I get the right amount by using this ladle, put it into the bowl, and I start whisking away. And just like that, by adding some water, it's ready to drink. So visit one of the locations near you so you can get some matcha, try it out. And if you guys aren't near any of the locations, go to junbishop.com. You can use our promo code WINNING to get 10% off anything on the website. I think this is a great way for you guys to really try this instead of using anything else for caffeine, such as sodas, coffees, pre-workouts. This is very clean. I do this myself and I love it.
Okay, how do we buy a home in another state?
How do we buy a home in another state?
Is it like a different process or?
Same, but difference.
Yeah, we do have a lot of clients who are in California and want to buy here in Vegas. I know there's some people who want to buy in Texas that have reached out to me. So what do we do here?
Some states have different rules. So you got to make sure for a couple of things is the loan officer has to be licensed there and the real estate agent has to be licensed there.
Okay.
So if you're looking at us, both of us have to be licensed there.
And in a lot of states we are.
Yes, a lot of states we are. And then some of the states just have different ways of doing house purchases. I know like in Florida, they use like an attorney instead of escrow. It's kind of weird.
Okay. Yeah. Are you, you are licensed in Texas, right?
Yes.
And I am not. So let's say I'm a homeowner and I want to buy a home in Texas. What do I need to do?
Same thing. Nothing. The only difference is you instead of putting California or Nevada, you put Texas where you want to buy.
Okay. Then here's this question. I get clients who are from Canada and they want to buy here. How do they do that?
Now that's a little difference. If you're a foreigner, you either have to pay taxes here. You have to have 2 years of paying taxes, United States taxes.
Well, let's say I've been seeing on Instagram, right? Look what you can buy in Colombia. What you could buy in Mexico. How do I buy it? I don't pay taxes there, but I want to buy a vacation home.
I don't know that answer, but I think I wouldn't be able to do it because I'm only in the U.S. You might have to find a lender out there or a private lender.
I think it's easier. Like, let's say if I was a Canadian, if I go to a Canadian bank, they'll probably be able to help me instead of going to you.
It's the same thing,
right?
Yeah.
So I would have to go to a Mexican bank.
Yes, in Mexico.
I see. That makes sense.
Because then it's their currency.
Though.
It's possible, but I don't know the policy is different, right?
Like, how do celebrities buy homes all over the world, right?
Yeah.
How do you buy it in Europe? Or they buy cash. Okay. Well, we're talking about like Mark Wahlberg, right? Who's paying cash for everything. The Rock, right?
Yeah,
those
cash,
people.
all cash.
But what if you're like, a reality TV star who doesn't make that much but has enough to buy a place in Europe?
You know what? I'm gonna have to look that up tonight. I think you somehow have to have some kind of permanent residency, right, to buy a property. I would assume.
Oh, so you got to fly there every 6 months?
Yeah, I would assume, right? But no American bank will lend into you.
Yeah, that's like a visa thing.
Yeah, maybe a private. If you're wealthy enough to have a private bank, they might do it, but no lender in the United States would do that.
So the ease would be to just rent in another country.
Yeah, or be rich enough to buy cash money.
I don't even know how much homes are in another country.
I think they're kind of
the same.
Like England,
Yeah,
because I have a friend that lives in England, and it's relatively the same.
I see.
Yeah.
How do you find like the lenders and stuff and agents? Like, what's the best way? I don't know.
For when I have people who ask me, can I buy a home in another state and I'm not licensed there?
Yeah.
We're involved in a group full of agents, within our brokerage, within our friends, and we have trustworthy word of mouth people that we can refer to. Like, I worked with this guy in Texas before. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
He helped these clients, or I have this person, and that's, we start referring out. So as long as we worked with a person before or someone has, then that's trustworthy.
Yeah.
But if you've never worked with a person,
It's hard.
oh man, like I can't trust you. So
This is a networking, all about network, right? So
yeah,
at that
Like,
point, it's gonna be you gotta.
I think I've sent referrals out to Lake Tahoe. I've sent referrals to Texas, Arizona, stuff like that. So
As a lender, I'm lucky enough to work for a big. Now I work for a big company
yeah,
that we're nationwide, and it's all in house. So
Yeah.
we funded to a loan officer there, and I can see everything that's happening. I'm on the emails, so like I'm part of it, but it's just that person's kind of
yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So that's the good part of working with direct lenders, like myself, is that
Right.
we are the bank. We do everything. We don't send it out to someone else.
So here's this question that I have. People from California try to buy a house here in Vegas.
Yep.
If you don't work remote, it's very hard for you to buy a home as a primary. You
Yeah.
have to buy as a second because you don't qualify.
Right.
If you don't have a job here, they can't prove that you're going to be living here.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to buy it as a vacation home.
Yeah.
Now, for me, if I'm trying to buy a home in Texas, buy a home in Ohio, and all those places that you see all over Instagram, people are investing in, are all these people buying it as vacation rates, second rates, investment rates?
You have to.
So how are they doing that when the rates are so high?
So the houses cost less there,
Yeah,
Or they
I
have
mean,
big-
like
or-
in
or-
Ohio, it's like $100K for a
Yeah.
home.
or they have like a little big down payment, and it owns like 20,000.
But even if the home costs less and the rate's high, you're still not cash flowing.
Maybe, or they just buying it to take the hit and then have someone to pay up the equity, and they have the
mean,
house to sell later on.
Equity in these areas, like if the house is still $100K and we're in 2023,
Because
it's
I know
going nowhere.
Because I had clients actually for last year. I had a lot of clients buying in Florida, and Orlando, like near Disney World. They bought a lot of houses there, like non new builds too. And oddly enough, the deals aren't that great out there for new builds. So I was a lender, and she only trusted me, but they break even basically on the purchase price and the rent.
So she's just hoping to make money off the equity.
Yeah, just as long as she's just breaking even, and that's it. She's just paying off their equity, and you just have the property.
I see.
And eventually,
That's
it's
kind
gonna
of cool too, though. Like even if you're not making money, and you're breaking even,
Yeah.
it's just like you're not.
You have a property now,
Yeah, you have a property,
and then she can
That's kind
pull
of cool.
she can pull equity out later, like a HELOC or something, and use that cash to buy another property.
Man, okay.
If it all makes sense, it gets pretty complicated. You gotta make sure if it works out for your finances, then
Yeah, of
then it
course.
works.
If you were to move to another state, Justin, where would it be?
Ooh.
Probably Texas or
really?
Florida.
Why?
I don't know.
Florida's gonna be gone later on, dude.
What do you
What
mean?
you mean?
When the water levels go up,
That's fine.
Just Florida?
I'll be gone too.
Florida, California too.
I mean, so that's not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime, though. I'm just saying eventually.
Yeah,
So
I think-
why
Why
Texas,
Florida?
though?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's very similar to Vegas.
it is. I think.
Because of the weather.
Yeah, the weather. I mean, you're gonna have a lot more storms for sure.
Is there
Those
good
ring-
food there?
Good food, yeah.
You know,
The barbecues, the burgers, and all those things.
Yeah, the
Yeah, you might not
barbecues.
have your fuzz and your
in Houston they do.
Yeah, there's a lot of Vietnamese people there, dude.
Yeah.
word.
Oh,
Okay.
There's a
Houston.
ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then maybe.
Isn't that the guy that provides the rappers all the jewelries out in Texas or Houston?
Yeah.
How about you?
I was thinking Texas because they do have beaches there, right? Have you
Hmm.
seen like
Golf.
I don't know where the beaches are over there.
I think it's just golf.
Isn't it by Houston?
No,
I have no
Houston's
idea.
a lot. I don't know. I really don't know.
No, we don't
Yeah.
know anything about Texas, guys.
From
Texas has beaches? No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
Yeah, there is. There's water like in the
the golf.
on the east side of Texas.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think it's almost the same water as the. No, it's not the same water.
It's
No,
not the same
it's not
water.
the same
We're Pacific.
No,
And
it's
then-
not, I'm talking about the Cancun water, but it's not.
Oh,
Cancun
no.
water is like blue.
Yeah, no,
Like
it's still
see-
green and
see
dirty.
through.
Yeah, I mean, like even New Jersey still has water and oceans,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a place I would live would be. I thought about Florida, because they have so many things, you know, like Disneyland, all that type of stuff. And, you know, it's just the way the state is ran. I just won't get in so much trouble if anything was to happen, you know, things like that. But I think my dream is always going to be Hawaii. That's my one state.
Yeah. Well, I can't live
Really? You won't get tired of
there.
it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think you think you
The
get
island
fever.
Yeah, island fever.
Why would? Because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just feel stuck. Like
No.
in Oahu, I always stay North Shore.
Yeah.
It's because I stay North Shore. It's away from everyone because I hate people. I'm just playing. But
Yeah.
and I want to be around the crowds. But it's literally like a 45-minute drive down to the other side.
It is. But I'm that person that's always going to have something to do. I'm always going to run a business, whether it's remote business or a business on the island. And then I'm going to always want to expand. So I keep myself busy. But when I clock out, I'm going surfing. You know what I mean? Or I'm going snorkeling, things like that.
I don't know. I want a vacation home in Hawaii.
Yeah, I would
wanna,
do that.
Live there.
Yeah, I even get like Vegas fever.
It's kind of small here.
Yeah,
too.
it's small. So
Same
that's
thing,
why.
you drive from one side to the other side and like
Yeah, it's so
45 minutes.
dumb.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, dude, it's like, all right. But the craziest thing is like when people complain, like driving from one side of the city to the other.
It's not
I'm like,
bad.
it's not
It is
bad,
not- it is
dude.
not
Yeah.
bad.
Like,
It
stop
is not
tripping.
bad.
Like,
That's
come visit me.
Yeah, I try to justify when I do like same day trips to Vegas and LA. And I'm like, yeah, it's only 4 hours, you know? When there's times when like I can drive somewhere in LA and I'm stuck in 2 hour traffic
Yeah.
one way
Yeah,
and 2 hours back
exactly.
the other way.
Yep.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, this isn't bad.
I used to drive 4 hours a day to work for like 5 years
Wow.
from Orange County to LA.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
That is dirty dumb.
All right, so what state would you want to move to?
I think I would. It's in Vegas, Nevada,
Vegas?
because I like a lot of the. I mean, I've been there a lot now, and then I take my truck off roading. There's a lot of trails.
But would you?
I would.
By the time
You
you
would?
move here, we're leaving. Me and Justin are out of here.
Then we're gonna have to do podcasts in Hawaii. That's gonna be an expensive flight, yo.
Wait, he said in another podcast episode that he would never leave
I would
California.
not. But you say if I had to, right?
Yeah. Yeah, theoretically, if we were to move to another state. you know.
Yeah, because right here, I've been here a lot, like enough to like experience like Vegas, not just the strip, like the locals and like the shopping around here. I have friends out here now, you know, and it's nice because the hiking here. I like doing hiking and like off like nature stuff, and like we're close to like a couple hour drive to like Zion, and this is cool.
Yeah.
In the
it's really cool.
in the next episode, William's gonna say, "Hey guys, I need you to help me find a home here."
Watch. I bet you.
There is a plan for me. I told Ann to buy at least a condo here, so
Okay.
I want to have to keep paying the hotel.
I'm actually okay.
You could probably rent it out too while you're gone.
Yeah,
I've been
short-term
thinking
rental.
about buying a home in California again, in
Oh.
SoCal. Maybe a condo or something like that,
Yeah.
just because I go back so often and, you know, I don't want to always stay at my parents' house. And so if I was to buy a home in California and I have a primary home in Vegas, can it be a primary home in California? As much as I go? Like, we're not lying about anything. I'm literally there 4 to 5 times a month right now.
Yeah, same.
Good question.
You know what I'm saying?
I have to look deep into
'Cause
the
you know,
Like I
guidelines
probably
for
spend like almost like 2 weeks a month out there.
Exactly. So that comes to the point where like there are people who are like, you know, they live in one state and then on the weekends they live in another
that. Yeah,
state.
it's true. They work
That's
in one
us.
state and then they live in the primary.
Can we have 2 primary homes in 2 different states?
No. However,
No.
we will talk off camera. And that's fine. But you can't have 2 primary properties.
Really?
Mm-mm.
But I do live in both though.
I had to look. I had to look at the technical term.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I really have to look up the term, like the guidelines. What it actually says.
And like, let's say my income is even in both states. I'm paying taxes in both states.
You know what? He always has the most unique like.
You know what I'm
scenarios.
saying?
That's good. No,
It's all legit.
I have to look that up. That's a good question. I really have to look that up. That's a very unique scenario. Not a lot of people have that scenario.
I think what it is, you know, it's weird because then it's like can I get 2 driver's license? You don't need
No,
it.
you can't. I think when you got one, you have to get rid of the other one. I know in California they stamp it like
Yeah, so it's like all of my cars are registered and
Yeah.
insurance registered
Yeah,
here
see,
in
that's
Vegas.
that's why. Yeah,
So you can't have
really
proof
have
of residency.
You can't have
there.
you can't have both because one has to be. Yeah, it's it gets tricky, but I can look into it.
Well, I mean, it's like I can still get a gym membership. I can still get all my utilities, right? So I have everything but a car.
I have to look into it.
Not everybody has to have a car to prove residency.
I will look into it, and I will have an answer next episode.
All right.
Wait, do you need a driver's license to purchase a home?
You need an ID.
So you could use like a passport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, or like identification card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
ID,
Yeah.
passport, picture, your
Ooh.
private pictures.
Private pictures.
My OnlyFans.
All right,
OnlyFans.
guys. We're going to shut this down before it gets a little weird. Thank you guys for tuning into our last episode here. Thank you. I love it when we have the lender because it's great. You guys, we got to take advantage when William's here. So please, if you have any lender questions, comment down below. Let us know what you love about the Next Win podcast. We need you guys to comment so we can help you guys give more value. So we'll see you guys next time on the next episode, and peace out. All right, guys. So head over to thejumbishop.com and you can get 10% off anything on the website by using our promo code WINNING.